Okay, in this video, what I want to do is handle a post operation to accept a new beer into our repository, or into our little application, I should say. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to create the method that's going to set that up. And in this case, we are going to turn back a response entity. And this is going to take in a beer object. And what we want to do here is have our beer service return back a new beer object. So we're mimicking what a persistence operation would do. So we're going to return back a saved beer, and we're going to take the beer object and say the beer service, like so. It's going to take in the object, return back a new instance, and then what we want to do is return back a new response entity created. So response entity, basically that's going to give us the, remember, 201 created for the status coming back. So basically we're saying that we want this to accept it. Now for the request mapping itself, we need to set that up, and we could say method like so. So that is one option. There are annotations that Spring provides for each one. So all we're doing here is saying that we want this method handle post. So what we can do, I'll actually comment this out so you can see it for reference. And just do post mapping. So that is a convenience annotation that basically says request mapping of post. So it is overloaded. So you could do a path there, but this is just a handy way. A lot of times there are more than one way of doing this, the same thing. I do like using these convenience annotations. That is a nice touch. So at this point, what we need to do is implement the save beer operation. So I'm going to come up here, do option enter on it, and I'm going to say create a new method. So that is going to add that. Then we need to implement it. And let me get this off the bottom of the screen for us. So what we want to do is create a new beer object. So we're going to build a new object and return that, because we're mimicking what the persistent store is going to do here. So that persistent store is going to assign the ID. So our external clients are not going to be assigning the ID. So we want to assign that ID property. And then we also want to say the created date. So our persistent store is going to be handling all that. Updated date. So you have local last updated and updated date. So a little consistency there. And then we can say beer name. This is where we're going to get the properties from the past and value. Beer style. Party on hand. I think that's all the properties. Beer style, up price. So again, what we're doing here is we are creating a new beer object. We are assigning it, so we're mimicking a database operation here. And then on our beer map, I'm going to put save beer, get ID, save that property to the map, or that object to the map, and then return the save beer object. So what our persistence method is going to do here is takes in the object that was created. We are assigning properties as if we were the database, but we're taking from the object that was passed in the properties, so the beer name, style, quantity on hand, etc. Assigning that, and then we are persisting it to our map, and then we're returning back the new save beer object. So let's go ahead and test this out. Go ahead and start. So we're up and running. I'm going to toggle over to Postman now. Take a look at that. So here is a beer object, so I'm going to steal that JSON. And we are going to go against API v1 beer. I'm going to do a post. In this case, we want the body. We're going to say raw. And we can see that see your beer name style. This is from some of my previous testing. And we'll say 250. That's pretty expensive for Mango Bob's. 1216 for a unit price. So let's go ahead. I'm double checking. I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and send that. And we can see nothing happens, but it appears like nothing happens. So we can see that we got a 201 created back. So that happened. So now I should have a Mango Bombs JT's 5 there. So now if I come back, and I think this might get, yeah, that's my good operation. So now we can see, let me resize this. So we do have a problem there, version null, beer name null, so do have a problem there. So let me take a closer look at that. This looks like our created object, but that didn't get persisted to the map properly for some reason. So I'm going to pause the video and take a closer look, see what I missed there. So I thought that would be working. So let me pause this. So I saw the error the second I toggled over. I missed an annotation. So I am passing in a beer object. But what I did not do, I did not use annotation for request body. So what this request body is telling Spring to do, the body of the post, we want it posted over to that. So that should go ahead and post. And let me clear this. Toggle over to Postman. See that it restarted. So now I'm going to go ahead and send this post again. Over here. There's my body. And let me call this 44 just so we have a distinct value. Now let's go ahead and send a post to the server. And we can see we're getting an unsupported media type, content type of application XML. Let me double check my headers. We're getting an application XML. That should be JSON. I think I was doing some experimenting with that. Let's change that one more time. Now we can see that I set the header to application JSON. We are configured to support that, and we can see we are getting a 201 created. So I did have that as XML, so that's something that you would not see, but we are getting a 201 created there. Now let's come back and we'll do the get for the list, verify that the data is there. And here we can see Mango Bombs 44, so that is that distinct value that I put there. So now we are working properly. So let me toggle back over to IntelliJ for a quick recap. What we did is we set up a handle post. We are taking in that request body annotation. That's what I missed the first time through. That tells the Spring Framework to bind the JSON body to a beer object. That binds it. The saved beer is now getting persisted through our service to our in-memory map. And this is what is returning back that 201 status, letting us know that it was successfully saved to our database.